All right, welcome back everybody to another episode of Secondhand Stories. I have my partner and the other co-founder to Thrift Fest NJ with me, Rick. Rick, introduce yourself.
How you doing, Nick? My name is Rick Medina. I go by Thrifty Rickies. Uh, and I'm pretty stoked to be on your podcast, man. I've been watching a few of yours and honored to be part of this.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's been an absolute pleasure working alongside you, trying to get this Thrift Fest up and running and to let us give something awesome back to the community to be able to,
Absolutely.
to be able to sit at the top of that. It's just an incredible feeling, as I'm sure you can attest to.
Absolutely, man. It's been a struggle so far, man, but without a struggle, there's no success.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we wanted to, add Rick in, and obviously we're going to get Cass from the Thrifty Cat. She is our other founding member. We're going to get her to actually do it as well. She's been working on her questions too. So we want you guys to get to know us as well as, get a little taste of what we're going to bring to the table when it comes to Thrift Fest as well. So Rick, without further ado, let everybody know, what's your store name? What is it that you sell?
Well, it's Thrifty Rickies. I'm on Mercari as Thrifty Rickies, and Poshmark and eBay, I'm Thrifty Ricky 201. I do everything from collectibles, vintage, antiques, and clothing. Clothing, I do vintage, 90s, streetwear, uh, new old stock, dead stock. I try to, whatever I curate, hopefully something that catches my eye, and hopefully it can sell and someone else can appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So how did you get into it? How did you get into reselling all this stuff?
Basically, I would say my uncle. I'm a Jersey kid. Junior year of high school, I moved down to Florida, and my uncle, to get us out of the house, we would always go to the flea markets on Saturday to the Fort Lauderdale swap meet, still around, surprisingly. And he would just pick up computer parts and stuff like that and sell and put things together. But I was always looking at, the hats, like snapbacks and clothing and stuff. And then in 2003, I was working at a restaurant, and a good friend of mine, she told me about an article she read about storage auctions. And she told me the one story is that there was an auction that was sold, and the gentleman saw it was all boxes, and he bid, he won. And when he started removing all the boxes, at the back of the unit was a Harley Davidson. That piqued my interest. I was like, well, treasure hunting it is. And after a couple of months of looking at, live storage auctions, we found one, we bid, we won. And then we had to figure out what we're going to do with all the stuff that was in there. There was couches, refrigerators, there was stuff that we knew we couldn't get rid of, that obviously went to the dump, which we hate, till now I hate about that. But we started going to flea markets. I went back to my original, of going down to the Fort Lauderdale swap meet, and we went to Englishtown, and we started selling stuff. We started selling DVDs, VHS tapes, clothing, and that started the spark. And ever since, I've been doing flea markets, Englishtown, Meadowlands. Then I met my wife in 2018, and we've been doing that since.
That's an awesome story. I love hearing stories like that too, because like it gives such character to why you do things and the stuff that you're about and the passion you obviously have towards doing all this. Now, when you met your wife, was she also a reseller?
No, not at
No.
all. She had some background. She used to manage Journeys, so she was into sneakers, and she was a sneakerhead. Still is, unfortunately, because it gets expensive.
Sure.
But yeah, we started doing flea markets, and then we started sourcing. Going out to yard sales, garage sales. I started doing auctions online, and just that, piqued both our interests, and we kept going.
Well, yeah, and I mean, and you've been doing it for quite a while, so I guess that would bring me to my next question. What do you think's the coolest item that you found? And since you do like so many different things, like for myself, I usually just do clothes, so it kind of like hinders like it just to a certain clothing or something. But like you do hard goods and all sorts of things. So out of that broad spectrum, what do you think is the coolest thing you found?
Yeah, it's a tough question. Like you said, it's total gambit of what I do. Uh, well, I do remember a couple years ago the Newton Townwide, which is coming up this weekend. Um, we were going. I guess we went to a few townwides because some of the townwides they interchange, or they go. They're on the same weekend, so it's kind of tough to hit all the towns. So we did a few other towns. I think Flanders or some other town, and then we came back to Newton pretty late. Um, and by that time, around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, people just shut down. So a lot of people leave their stuff out. Like if they didn't sell it, they're just gonna toss it.
Mhm.
So my wife is infamous for that. She was like, "Stop! There's some garbage. It looks like good stuff. Grab it." So I saw there was a bunch of sheet music, and it was vintage sheet music. It was 50s, 60s. So I've had it probably 2 years now. And then a couple months ago, I was going through it, and a photograph slipped out. And when I looked, I didn't recognize the two artists. And then I try to use eBay, and sometimes I use ChatGPT. A lot of people hate that, the AI movement, but it's helpful in our field. And I found out it was a Les Paul and Mary Ford. They were a 50s duo, and the signature looked pretty good. It definitely looked like it was pen. It wasn't like a photographed or anything like that. And I sent it into a PSA location in Jersey City, and hopefully, if it comes back, the value is anywhere between 500 to 1,200 bucks to the right owner bidder. So that was something cool because it was unexpected. It just slipped out of the. And actually, I've had it here for, like I said, 2 years. And then when I was going through it to look at what I would be selling, it just slipped out. And I did a little research, and I thought it was cool as hell.
That is really awesome, especially the chance of that just happening too. Like,
Yeah,
and you have a piece of history. I mean, if it's authentic and everything, I mean, I think that's a lot of beauty that comes with this craft is that you get to hold like history in your hands. It's not just solely about making money and reselling old clothes. Like you could find like vintage band tees or sheet music in this, or when you're doing hard goods, you could find musical instruments that may have history behind them. Like there's just so many
absolutely.
different things that go along with that. And I think that's just a very overlooked, beautiful thing about this business.
Yeah, it's even cooler if, let's say, you're at an estate sale and you can get the history from the person that's actually getting rid of the stuff. Then you can get, it's more, you have more value than just like you said, a price tag. Then you have a history behind that item, and you can actually pass it along to whoever is going to buy it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, what would you say is the biggest flip you've ever made?
Hmm. It's definitely been some years now. I did an online auction, and I'm into snapback caps, and sportswear. And I saw an online auction where I saw a few 90s The Game. I'm not sure if you're familiar with those caps, but the game had a bunch of sports caps from the 90s, and I bid, and they were going 200 plus, and I took a chance. I won the bid, and as soon as I went to go pick it up in PA, I believe um, it was about 33 hats. By the time I sold probably 3 or 4 of them, I got my money back. And at the end of selling all of them, I kept a count. It was about 3,300 from my initial investment of 250. It took a
Wow.
little while. Definitely took a little while. Thank God for eBay, because that platform, definitely has a large audience. So somebody was looking for those hats.
No, that's awesome though. That's an incredible flip. Definitely a
Yeah,
memorable one too.
doesn't happen all the time though. You know how
It's
that
true.
it's a
It's true.
grind.
Yep. So what would you say is something that people misunderstand about being a reseller, about like being in this field?
I think if you're new to the field, the misconception of it's all about the sourcing and the hunt, which is a great part of it, but there's a system, there's a process. You know, if you find something that's been unkept, you're gonna have to clean it. You have to, you have to wash it, and then you have to display it. And then you gotta do your research to see if it's actually worth it. And obviously, like going through all the platforms, you have to post it and then, write keywords, try to get the best that you can, try to get the buyers to key on it and then try to sell it. People just think that just sourcing and going to yard sales, grabbing it, and from what I know, a lot of people have dead stock. They have a house full of stuff that they've been sourcing. They haven't got rid of it because it's all about the sourcing part. All your money's stuck in the inventory. So for you to really make this into a successful business, you have to source, process, sell. And, hopefully, as a reseller, it's not so easy, but, if you have a system, you can definitely do well in this business.
Absolutely. And I do think that is a big thing. Even if you just look at the way that I sell things compared to the way that my wife sells things, like I don't have a dead pile. She has a massive dead pile. Like I tell myself that I'm not allowed to source until everything's caught up. And like I'll sit here and I'll just do tons and tons of listings, you know what I mean, just to get that source. Because I usually source once a week and, she also sources once a week. But I guess just for her, you get it. I mean, I understand myself as a reseller that you get that great feeling when you can go out and source and you find something cool and you're excited to sell it and like all this stuff. And then maybe it doesn't sell as fast as you thought it was. But then the next week comes and you're doing it and it gets out of hand at some point. I mean, I will soon be running a Whatnot show just to downsize because my inventory with the summer slowdown, I was sourcing a certain amount per week, and it's just the sales aren't there right now. I mean, I'm selling a third of what I was selling a month ago.
That's a good problem to have, though.
Hmm.
To have a death pile that you can actually just, get rid of and make that money.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Whatnot is great for that. I mean, if you want to just go on there and just move inventory, and you may not get the same weighting, but it'll move fast.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance. We spoke about that. Might have to dip my toes into that part of that platform and see what I can do.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely worth checking out for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, so walk me through your sourcing process now that we were talking about that. Like, what are your favorite places to hunt for stuff?
I'm all over the place with that. I mean, from September to October, yard sale season's great. A lot of people don't know what they have, as far as value is concerned. Town wides, like we know we both go to. I do a lot of online auctions. I used to do live auctions. I want to get back into that. It's a lot better when you can actually see the stuff rather than just, hoping that everything's there when you get to the location. Estate sales as well. They're pretty good source as long as they're not trying to, jack the prices up. Or the best thing is to go the last day of the estate sale. You can always get 50% to 75% off. So that's always a good source. And then, the thrift stores like Red, White, and Blue, Goodwill. I try to go to Goodwill bins. I haven't been successful there because obviously there's only a few in our area. There's one in Hackensack and there's one down the shore. I believe it's down by Tom's River.
Yeah, it's like Belmar or something.
Yeah, they're not close.
Hmm.
And when you do go there, they're packed. People are, the word is out. So if you want, well, think about it, $1.99 a pound, that's awesome. If you can find what you're looking for. You're specific with your tees. I mean, for you to go to Goodwill bins and find a bin full of rock tees or skate tees, might not happen. So you waste your money on your gas. You got to go down there, and it might not be a successful, trip for you. But people take the chance. I mean, I'm all over the place because, like we spoke too. You gave me some good honey holes, and I'm not going to reveal that on on a
Mhm.
podcast, but just talking to other sellers, they might give you some hints, give you some hookups, and just keep on, trying to find new sources.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And like to speak on the bins and stuff too. It's an exciting thing to go do it. But then when you watch like other people, like some of the West Coast people, like the Midwest people that are on YouTube, like 888 Vintage or Retro, like they're on there and everybody gets their own bin and it's very calm and collected. Like
Yeah,
if you
what
go
I
to
was saying.
the NYNJ like bins in
Yeah,
Hackensack, it is
savages.
throwing elbows, people getting nasty, fights breaking out, the workers screaming at you. Like it is absolute. If
Yeah,
you've never been there, it's absolute chaos.
yeah,
It's extremely dirty and it's very hot in there.
yeah. You're not kidding. We used to
So,
go. We used to go a couple years ago, and that's what we saw. That's what we encountered. Just people. They're just not nice. It's not.
mhm.
It's not calm. I've been to the one in Pittsburgh, and totally different. Everybody's calm. Everybody got their own bins. If you find something, they might even say, "Oh, are you taking that? Can I take it?" Not the same at the NJNY. No way.
Yeah, no, the NJNY one is literally a battleground. I mean,
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is.
yeah, pretty much.
You know? Okay, so what's one lesson that you say you wish you knew when you started reselling?
Don't buy everything at a cheap price. Buying dollar items doesn't always amount to you selling it for 30, 40 bucks. And doing research. I mean, my wife's infamous for pulling out her phone and, either going through eBay through their, like a Google Lens, or hitting up a barcode to see if it's worth it. Because, like you said, we talked about death pile. If you buy all this stuff and you don't know the value, and then you finally look when you get home on eBay and it's only selling for $4 or $5 and you bought it for $1, there's not much meat on the bone. And then you just set it aside, and now you have a room full of items that you might take with you to the flea market if you do flea markets, but at the same time you're building that death pile, and there's not much meat.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, so what's next for your store? Like your goals, projects, expansion? What is the future of Rick Medina and his store?
I definitely want to go more on social media. We spoke about that. Make a social media presence, uh, kick off our flea market, and hopefully grow the community in Sussex County, because they definitely need it. We need it. I'm tired of going all the way to Pennsylvania. Why does Pennsylvania have all these flea markets? Why can't we have a cool vintage flea market, especially at home where we live? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, obviously, Bergen County and closer to New York, I'm sure there's great flea markets over there, but we're trying to build something here for us, for resellers, even for buyers, or even just for families to come through and find something and enjoy just a day out like people used to do. Like flea markets were a big rage 10, 15, 20 years ago. So we're trying to get that back, and hopefully we get a little bigger. I know we're gonna get bigger. Um, and probably my end game, which I'm hoping for, I want to open up an auction house. I want to do an old school auction with the auctioneer, with the gavel and everything, and just, sell everything, from cars to tractors to jewelry to clothing, have that old school auction house in Sussex County. So I want to do it in my roots, because here's where I'm planting my roots now. I'm not originally from this county, I'm from Hudson County, but I love where I live now and what we're doing together with Cass as well. You know, we're trying to, that's our first step, just the flea markets. And then from there, we can just blow up, even open
Yeah,
up a brick and mortar.
absolutely. Absolutely. I would love to see that too. I'd love to see an auction house. I've always wanted to go to one. I've never been to one. I think that'd be really exciting.
Yeah, man, neither have I, but they've definitely had dreams of opening one up. Maybe I can retire and just go to school for an auctioneer and just be that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's your favorite platform to sell on, and why would you say that?
Right now, it's got to be eBay. I mean, I sell, like I said before, I sell on eBay, Mercari, and Posh. Uh, I'm gonna dip my toes into vintage as well, something we spoke about that you hit me up to, that you do well on. But eBay is such a large audience. I mean, international sales. I mean, you can sell anything on there. eBay's been good to me. Obviously, I wouldn't be, plugging them in. But Poshmark and Mercari is good. I mean, it depends for people. I mean, if you're selling clothing, Poshmark is awesome. I sell almost everything, and I sell a lot of clothing on eBay. I mean, everybody complains about, the fees have gone up, but you got to factor that into your price. If you purchase something for $1 and you're trying to sell it for 40, 50 bucks, which doesn't happen often, but you can factor in all those fees that they're going to hit you with, and you still make a pretty good buck. I mean, the audience alone, I mean, it's just that platform is so huge, and I haven't had no qualms with them.
Yeah,
Good
no,
for me.
it is a great site, and it does give you a lot of exposure, like as you said before, to the national level. Like you can get, or not to the national, but to the global level. You can
Yeah.
get everywhere. I mean, you could be selling things to Japan, to Australia, right in your own backyard. It just gives you that exposure, and it comes with a price. eBay is going to take a lot of fees out because
Yeah.
they're well established and they can give you that exposure. And some of the other sites, they just aren't built like that just yet.
Not yet. Yeah, they're working on it though.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to spread the love though.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say is like your biggest grail find that you've ever found? Like it could be a personal piece, it could have been something you sell, but you sold that or you saw this and you were like, wow, this is like the holy grail of things I've ever found.
I would have to say I found at an estate sale. Well, I actually raided the closet. That's what I usually do in an estate sale. I go straight to the closet because I like the clothing. Coogee out of Australia. I found 3 Coogee sweaters, and I
Wow.
was just floored. I was like, I don't care how much this lady's gonna charge me for these, but she's like bundle. I'm like, oh, that's the best phrase you can ever hear from the estate sale owner or person who runs it is a bundle. So I found a bunch of jerseys. I found the 3 Coogee sweaters. I found some other polo that I love, and I forgot, it might have been 150 for everything. Ended up selling those 3 Coogee sweaters for maybe 300 each, and they were all on eBay, I believe. And that was I've only seen Coogee on Biggie's videos because Biggie was big on those sweaters. I've never really seen any up close, but they were beautiful.
Mhm. Yeah, no,
Beautifully
they
made.
are. I've never had a Coogee sweater. I've had two Coogee t-shirts. I still have one actually. They're a
Nice.
little harder sell, but those Coogee sweatshirt or sweaters, like the Bill Cosby looking ones, those are,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
those
They're
are the real
interesting.
deal.
They're
Yeah.
very interesting.
Or even the jeans for that matter. I hear the jeans sell very well.
Never seen the jeans.
Yep. Yep.
Gotta add that to my bolos.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's quite the grails to find too. So
I
do you
also
collect?
found, if I can do a show and tell.
Yeah, of course, please.
Now I'm a Giants fan, obviously, and I found this Giants hat, which is a logo athletic. It's a snapback. Still a little dirty. I gotta clean it up. I just found it a couple weeks ago at a yard sale. It cost me less than $1 because I bought a bunch of hats and he just threw 2 more hats in there. When I saw that one, I was beside myself. That's my favorite. The logo athletics, I think, are 90s, 80s, and 90s. That's going for about 150, 100, 180 on eBay. But that's personal. That's not going anywhere. That's going right on my hat because I'm going bold and I got to cover the ball spots. But yeah, that's another grail that I'm keeping to myself. That's just that was such an awesome find for me.
No, that's awesome. So I guess that brings me to my next question. So, do you collect the things that you thrift, or does everything eventually get sold? And what would you say percentage wise when you're outsourcing would be like, all right, I keep maybe 5% of the stuff that I actually come across and sell 95%, or how does that break up for you?
It's getting hard, brother. It's getting hard because sometimes you find stuff that you're like, oh, that's my size. And that's something I've been looking for, especially when it comes down to polo. I'm a Ralph Lauren head, or low head, like they call them. Um, right now, I would say it's about 85% that's for sale, 15 for myself. Obviously, if it's my size, it's a toss up. But right now, it's all about, flipping. If I purchase something for a good amount, I'm gonna try to get that money back so I can go out and buy another item or buy another lot or a bundle. So at this point, I would say 85. I would even push to 90. Sometimes depending on what day of the month it is. If it's close to bill time, then I definitely got to make those bill money and get rid of the stuff that I have. I try not to build a death pile. That's key. Try to keep that at a minimum.
Absolutely. So to follow up with that, you said you collect like you're big into Ralph Lauren and stuff like that. Is there anything else like you're really big into that you collect? Like anything that you're always on the hunt for that, hey, if I see that, I'd like to add that to my personal collection?
Well, Ralph Lauren they have so many different lines, like the P Wing, the double RL. I haven't seen any of those yet. Well, the double RL I haven't seen. P Wing I find every now and then. The denim, snapbacks. If I find old snapbacks, there's a Drew Pearson that's a company. He was an old football player for the Dallas Cowboys. He has a line, and usually you'll notice because it's either graffiti, like the sports team would be in big letters, or graffiti, and it stands out. Those things are going for so much money, but that would be a personal, especially if it's a Giants, a New York Giants cap. But those are holy grails for a lot of people. I mean, it would be hard to part with because I know the value of them, and you don't see them often. I've never seen it in the wild. I mean, I've seen it on eBay and I've seen it on some YouTubes, but I've never seen them in the wild. But if I do catch one, I'm definitely holding on to that bad boy.
Absolutely. All right. So, is there any other resellers or creators or people on YouTube or anything like that that you follow that you look up to that you kind of use as inspiration, or do you just do this all on your own?
For the most part, I do it on my own. I mean, in the beginning, I would follow Gary V. He was in the beginning before he became an inspirational speaker. He was big on like cards and comics, and I got a lot of information and some knowledge off of him. And then obviously some of the positive stuff that he was kicking was actually it's set deep. It was deep stuff. So I vibed with it. So, but besides that, I really don't. I'd rather meet people like you. When I do flea markets, I pick the old guys, all the old timers. I pick their brain. They'll tell me a few things like, "Hey, that stuff you have that's worth a lot more money than you're asking for," and then I'm like, "Why?" And then I'd rather do the one-on-one. You've hit me up with a lot of info and a lot of knowledge, and I appreciate you, Nick.
Yeah, appreciate you as well.
Nick. That's why we're doing what we're doing. But yeah, I rather do. I don't follow people, like I don't go on YouTube and stuff like that. I'm old. I'm a Gen Xer. A lot of us don't really get down with technology. I'm trying though. I'm trying to do the social media stuff, but I rather do the one-on-ones. I love talking to people and hearing their stories and people giving you information just that they wouldn't. I don't see the old heads on the flea markets going online and giving you the information they would give somebody that would be there at the flea market with them. So
Absolutely.
for me, it's the one-on-one.
No, I mean it's great that way too because it's more personal. You could tailor it. You can ask questions. When you're watching someone on YouTube and stuff, you're just watching. Like it's not like as I mean, you could leave comments and stuff, but the chances of them answering you, it's up in the air as opposed to having a conversation like this where you can pick each other's brain and
Right.
especially too like local. because a lot of the local dynamics, like you said before about the honey holes and stuff, like finding places to source at, you're not going to find that from somebody who's a YouTuber out in California or Wisconsin or something like that. You're going to find that from meeting other resellers in the area. When you go out to the thrift and you strike up a conversation with somebody, or like you said, you go to the flea market and you pick on the people who are pick the brains of the people who've been there for forever selling these things and being a part of that community. I mean, the one place that we're all looking for is the rag house, right? And the only way you're going to find that is
Oh
by
man.
knowing the right person, because nobody wants to give up that information. But doing it the way that you're speaking to, that one-on-one, that being personal and stuff like that, that's how you learn about these secretive places so you can build your business.
Absolutely. That's the one thing. Oh man, if I ever do, I'll hook you up.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Same.
that rag house, that's like it's like being a Freemason. No
It
one's
is.
giving up that information.
Yep. Yep. All right, so we were talking about a little bit before with you were saying like the old timers and stuff like that. So when it comes to your business, is it vintage, modern, a mix of both? Where are you at on that?
It's a mix of both, I would say. I mean, as far as clothing, vintage, the material, the quality of material is 10 times better than the modern stuff. Uh, it lasts longer. As far as vintage hardware and furniture and stuff like that, unfortunately, pretty soon that's all going to end up in the landfills because the Gen Zers and the millennials, I don't think they want any of that. They're not going to decorate their house with vintage stuff from their grandparents or their parents, so they're just going to let it go. And once the baby boomers are gone, pretty soon, no one's going to be really collecting all that. So, I mean, for me, for the time being, I do both. I love vintage. I love the look, but pretty soon that's just gonna diminish and unfortunate, but it's just because people are really not gonna be into it.
No, absolutely. I mean, I do see it, some trends and stuff like that. Like, I try to keep up with current, times and what people are looking for and stuff like that. And it's like, it seems like right now, like a lot of the Y2K is like really hot. I mean, that
Yeah.
seems to be where I'm getting a lot of my sales. Like, even like right now, one of the hotter things, which I couldn't believe, is mall brands like Aeropostale, Abercrombie, Hollister, anything with those puff print, like lettering and stuff on
Oh
there.
yeah.
Those things are moving really quick. Even the music and stuff like is making a comeback. Like all of that era, 2000, 2009. It's making a big boom right now. And I mean, I guess that's just like a thing that happens though, because I mean, when I was younger, you know what I mean? People would dress like their parents dressed. I mean, now the kids coming up and stuff like that, their parents grew up in the Y2K era and stuff, so they're used to seeing that fashion and stuff, and that's just a part of the culture now. But I do agree with what you're saying that like the older things and stuff like that, they're just going to be phased out and people are not
No.
collecting them. Because even think about the baby boomers and stuff. I mean, are they collecting things from the 1800s?
Yeah, no, I doubt it.
Everything phases out eventually after a certain amount of time. I'd love to know the year span that this generation doesn't care about this generation or before. Like, I'd love to know where that falls for each thing and stuff that, then those things just, they'll be like relics. I mean, even showing like, because our kids are roughly the same age, like showing them like a rotary phone or something like that. Or like my daughter saw a VHS the other day and she's like, what is that? Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It wasn't that long ago that they were in use.
absolutely. I still collect VHS tapes.
Hmm.
I try to do the horror though. Those are the hard ones to find.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, what's one category that you'll always try to pick up when you see it? Like, is there like something that when you see it, you're like, I'm going to pick it up. I know it'll sell for me. It goes good with the flow of my shop. Like, what's the one category you would say is all about you?
I'd say 90s. I grew up in that era. Like you said, the Y2K stuff is great. I think I wasn't really into that fashion at that point, but the 90s definitely, and the 80s kid. Uh, the hip hop in 80s. So CDs, DVDs of anything with hip hop or that clothing, I would definitely pick up because I know there's a market for that. People,
Absolutely.
people my age are definitely looking for that 80s, 90s stuff. Um, And yeah, I would definitely, me, I pick up everything. So if it's Y2K, 90s, 80s, even you can't forget about the 60s and the 70s. I
Hmm.
mean, you can't, stuff has value to, it depends who it is. I mean, price value or sentimental value. There's value in almost anything that you find. So
Absolutely.
I'll just pick
Absolutely.
it up and hopefully it can sell.
Yeah. All right. So then on the other side of that coin, what's one category that you just want to stay away from? When you see it, you're just like, you know what? It's not about me. It's not about my shop. I'm not going to touch that.
That's tough. I think one would probably be beauty products
Hmm.
because number one, there's expiration dates on them. And there's been a few times that I dabbled in it, and I've on eBay I would say get some bad feedback saying that it didn't smell like it did in 1975, or the makeup didn't work that they thought it was going to work out to be, even though it's been 10 years since it's been sold. So yeah, I try not to do any beauty products. Kids clothing or kids stuff is kind of tough too. Not a big market for me. It could be for someone else, but I try not to dabble in stuff like that. But those are probably the only two that I really try to stay away from.
No, absolutely. I would agree with that. Me personally, I try to stay away from children's as well. I just don't see the market for it. Whereas the cast picks it up immediately. She sells it like crazy. Everybody's got their own thing. You know what I mean?
That's her thing.
Yep, that's her thing. So if you had to pick, where would be like your dream spot to go thrifting or sourcing? Like if you could pick any spot in the world, you had access to anything, like would you want to make a trip out of it or would you want to, is there one place in particular that you'd want to just like go and source?
Probably be two places, international and national. I would definitely go to LA and go to there, like the Rose Bowl flea
Hmm.
market. Hopefully, get a hookup with a rag house because we know there's a bunch of them over there.
Oh yeah.
That would probably be tough. But yeah, they're flea markets. They have night markets. They're upper echelon of flea markets over there. Get some bomb ass tacos that they make over there. But sourcing over there would be probably pretty cool. It's either that or in Japan.
Hmm.
Japan and the uh, clothing. They love our culture. They love the hip hop culture. They love the Y2K. They love the 90s. So I can only imagine what they have over there. And I'm sure there's some curators over there that are keeping stuff to themselves, and hopefully they can. I've never seen any flea markets in Japan. I've never really looked that deep into it, but that's probably a trip that I would like to make. Maybe go see their thrift stores if they have any. I'm sure they do because they love our culture. So they definitely gonna probably have something that we do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so in your history, we went over how you got into reselling some of
Hmm.
your grail pieces and everything. What's the I think you covered this before, but what's the one item that you've ever come across that you thought, reselling could actually become something very serious for me? Like, what's something that you sold or came across, and then when it finally sold, you were like, you know what, I can actually do something with this. I can make this into a business.
It had to be the snapbacks. It had to be the caps and the hats that I bought on auction, and then there was a few other auctions that I got a big lots of hats, and they always sold. I
Hmm.
mean, eBay was a great platform for snapbacks for me. I mean, I did trucker hats, old vintage trucker hats, which sold for me. Um, I just realized that number one, they weigh less than a pound. So you know how that is with eBay. Anything less than a pound, you're golden. You're only paying 6, 7 bucks for shipping.
Hmm.
Anything over that, they're gonna bang you over the head with it. So, you put it in a box, secure it, send it, easy peasy. But yeah, I learned with the hats, the profit margins on the hats were what I was looking for. You can buy a box of hats. Someone doesn't know that they are vintage trucker hats in there, and you can buy it for less than 50 bucks, 20 bucks, and you can sell individually for anywhere between 25 because they're the new rage. Everybody loves those trucker hats. So I think bumping into, sports hats, trucker hats, mesh hats, any kind of snapbacks or fitted hats was how I thought to myself, maybe I could do this as a side business and hopefully in the near future do this as a permanent, just my main source of income.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I hope to have that same thing. You know what I mean? I know we've talked about it many times. Like it's a beautiful thing to be able to have like a brick and mortar or something like that and not have to work a 9 to 5 and be able to do this full time. Like I think that's any reseller that's serious about reselling. I think that's the dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those dreams can come true. I mean,
Absolutely.
just got to put the work in.
Of course. Of course. So, what's one thing that you want people to remember about you and your store after they watch this?
That I'm a cool dude.
Absolutely.
No, just kidding. Uh, I take my time when I'm out there sourcing. Even though I do pick and choose my liking, and I'm hoping there's someone out there that might like that same item or piece. Uh, I hold respect. I mean, I respect the person that I bought it from. I respect where it came from. I try to do the background on it, try to get the history like we spoke about, and pass that on to my buyer. Sometimes I get feedback, well, dude, thank you for taking care of the shipping, making sure everything was wrapped and everything is secure in a box. I'm not putting in letters or cards saying thank you and stuff. I just make sure that the products get there, in a timely fashion and in a secure manner where nothing's going to get destroyed. I've gotten hats in a bag, in a poly mailer. I'm like, dude, you destroyed the crown of my cap because you sent it in a poly mailer. Why wouldn't you put it again, to each his own. I have a little bit more respect for the buyer and the seller. I mean, I respect everybody. I mean, I take this as like we said, it's a side hustle, but to get it to where it's your main source of business, you got to treat it like a business. And to treat it like a business, you have to be a business person, a businessman, businesswoman. And without a system, you're really not running a business. You're just basically just a side hustle guy. And I'm trying to get away from that term, just a reseller. I don't want to get someone's stuff and just resell it to you. No, we want to be called curators. And, and hopefully be an owner, like you said, the brick and mortar. Oh, this is my store. I welcome everybody. Come on in, see my pieces. I hope. Oh, and if you want to wheel and deal, we'll talk. So, I mean, after this, hopefully, this is my first interview. Like I said, thank you very much for inviting me in this. I'm gonna take a pop shot at social media and maybe do what now, like you said, and hopefully build an audience. Hopefully, some people will follow me, and hopefully, they'll love the pieces that I have, for sale.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, I'm absolutely grateful that you came on and decided to, shed some light on who you are, let the people know who one of the founding fathers is of Thrift Fest and kind of what you do. So, my last two things when it comes to this interview is what can you tell our viewers when it comes to Thrift Fest? What can they expect from you personally with your store? And what things do you want to strive to make happen at Thrift Fest itself as being one of the founding fathers?
Well, first of all, I'm excited that we got together and we came up with the concept and we're moving forward with it. And for me, I'm going to try to provide the best of my best. I'm definitely going to bring sporting goods as far as jerseys, football, basketball, baseball, a lot of my snapbacks, vintage ones, some tees. I can't compete with you and Cass though. You guys got me beat. But since it's going to be in September, I'm going to start with my plaids, some sweaters, hoodies, and the new crave of the quarter zips for all the young, for the YNs that they call them, um, and some polo pieces. And I'm excited to see all the other vendors. I mean, we did some legwork and we got some vendors coming in, and I want to see their stuff. And they take pride in their booths because they're gonna treat their little location, their spot, as like a mini store. And I'm excited for the people, for all the buyers that are coming in. They're gonna have a wide selection of things to shop for. It's gonna be back to school time too, so there's gonna be things for kids, things for adults, for your collectors. Hopefully, people looking for vintage stuff, because I know that long list of vendors that we have, they're coming with their A game, and I'm very excited to see what they bring.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So let everyone know where they can find you and where they can support you for what you do.
First of all, you're gonna find me at Thrift Fest NJ, September 26th on Saturday from 9 to 5, with my co-founding fathers and mothers.
Yes.
Definitely can find me on Mercari, so the Thrifty Rickies. Poshmark and eBay, it's Thrifty Ricky 201. I will be doing Instagram pretty soon. I'm a Gen Xer, so give me some time. I gotta work that. I gotta figure out how to do that, and hopefully whatnot. So, and vintage. So hopefully next time we see each other, next time we talk, I should have all that information. But give me a shout out, DM me. Oh, I'm actually on Instagram. It's Thrifty Ricky 201, if I'm correct. Not much has been going on there, but DM me, or I will see you on September 26th.
Absolutely. And I'm going to make sure that, in the bio of this video, we're going to put all Rick's links and stuff like that so you guys can check out his store and show him some love and maybe get a sneak peek of some of the stuff that's going to be at Thrift Fest, because it is coming fast and we do have a lot of exciting things planned for you guys. And I want to reach out to all our other resellers that are going to be there. If you want to have an interview just like we're doing here and as we've done in the last 2 episodes and stuff like that, all you have to do is reach out to us at thriftfestnj@gmail.com and we will get an interview scheduled with you. I actually have another interview scheduled on Thursday with one of our resellers that is also going to be at Thrift Fest, and there's a couple more in the works that I'm ironing out the details and schedule for. But it's an exciting thing. We have curated a lot of really cool vendors that are going to be there. I'm going to be releasing that in the videos, the Road to Thrift Fest, talking about that more. But I had assumed when Rick and I were going through this, because a lot of people we were dealing with on a first come, first serve basis, while at the same time doing the legwork to make sure that they fit the vibe of what we were going for. We didn't want just like anybody there that sold just basic things. It had to kind of like go with the fitting. And there was just so many different people coming in all at once. The response from the ads and the ones Rick was putting out, the ones I was putting out on social media, there was such a huge response of emails flooding in that we wound up filling 35 vendors. I think it was in 9 days. It wasn't even a full 2 weeks for us to hit that full mark.
Super quick.
And that was turning away a few, but most of them actually seemed to fit the vibe. And when I looked at the actual list that I had made, because I wrote down everybody that was going to be there and what they were selling and stuff, it actually, I think it was 24 out of 35 are at least clothing resellers, if not like doing more. Like Rick had said, he does some hard goods and stuff like that as well. But 24 out of the 35 are actually clothing resellers. And I thought there was going to be far less than that. So I was actually impressed that, we got a lot of clothing resellers. And I mean, there's other people on there that are doing different crafts and stuff. There's other people on there that are making things. I think the person that I'm interviewing on Thursday is one of those people that is actually making different things. It's not reselling, to be exact. So we did try to give it a good mix. And I just want to throw out there while we have Rick here, we are still looking for active people. Now, the town of Newton told us that we can only have 35 people who are physically selling things. But if we have artists, if we have people who do any sort of work like that, that aren't trying to sell at the event, but more so get seen, that's where we're looking at this point, because those people can have a booth. As long as they're not selling, then it won't be a problem with the town of Newton, from what I'm told, that they can go there and we can set up a section where it's people showing off their art, or giving out information about their businesses. I know Rick, I saw in the email today, Rick had managed to land the Center for Prevention. So we are also offering services and stuff too.
Awesome.
So they emailed us today and they said they would be sending a representative to be at the festival. Because again, I think that's where a lot of people got confused. Rick mentioned earlier about the AI thing and stuff like that. We did have like a bit of an issue with people complaining about that. And then we also had people come to our defense about it as well. It was just simply a flyer. I'm not going to go into it again. We've talked about it
No.
enough. But, at the end of the day, I think people got it misconstrued what the festival was all about because it was like a Grateful Dead-esque type flyer and stuff. So they thought it was just going to be
Yeah.
like a hippie event. And while there are some people out there that will be like cast sells boho stuff and hippie stuff, it doesn't mean the whole festival will be that way. And I think on the next flyer, we're going to try to make it more inclusive to everybody rather than just the 70s vibe because it is a lot of different things. Like I mean, I'm always dressed in black from anyone that's watched any of my videos and stuff. I have more of like a gothic emo aesthetic compared to Cass's like more bright and lively boho hippie vibe. So you know what I mean? There's all different things that are going to be there, all different backgrounds, all different curations and stuff when it comes to what we source and what we sell. So if you think you're just going to go there and it's just going to be, like a hippie vibe, I think a lot of people got that mixed up. It's going to have a little bit of everything. We specifically curated these vendors so that no matter what person goes there, whether it be child to adult to senior to young to whatever the case may be, whatever your vibe is, we will have at least some vendor there that will appeal to what you're looking for. And that's how we make it so inclusive. And that's how we make it so that you'll want to come and want to stay and have a good time and make this as memorable as possible.
Yeah, that was key, man. You said it. I mean, having something for everybody is what our goal was. I mean, yeah, I get it. There's a small amount of people, just a few, that were upset with the flyer, but you saw that we had a response. People had our backs. It's just not it's all about community. And that's what we're doing, building a community of resellers and artists. Hopefully we'll get some artists after this interview. I have a few lined up, so hopefully they'll come through. And just people displaying what they do. Like you said, you have people doing crafts. I mean, that's the beauty of all this. It's art and it's in a big way. Even if you sell, if you make, or if you're just going there to have a great time, that's what Thrift Fest NJ is all about.
Absolutely. And, we are working on the music situation. It's unfortunate that the town of Newton is giving us different roadblocks and stuff like that as far as them not being able to hook up power in the area, but we are working on that right now. I can't give any definitive answers as to if we're going to get it completely rectified, if we're just going to stick with the DJ. We're working on it. So that'll be something that we could talk about in a later thing. But if you do know a solution to that problem, you would like to offer your services, generators, things like that, we are absolutely looking for sponsorship as well. And our sponsorship would entail, having pretty much a banner on the fence, because there is a fence that goes around the entire perimeter of it, and we were putting sponsors, banners and stuff up there. So if you're a real estate agent, you want your banner up there, you could send us an email, we could do that. If you're trying to promote your own business or anything, as long as it's family friendly, it's not anything that's going to be deemed like not responsible.
Inappropriate. Yeah.
Inappropriate. So you know what I mean? We are looking for that for people too, and we'd be happy to do that. So, especially the local businesses and everything. And like I said, we have a lot of things in the work as far as opening up things on Spring Street a little bit. So that way, if you do park up in that area, you can visit a lot of the local businesses and stuff that are there. And in the coming weeks, we'll post more about that. I think at this point, I was just kind of sitting in limbo, waiting to hear what the police are going to say at this point, because they want to have officers there and they're asking for a more than comfortable amount of money to do so. And again, we wanted to keep this for our vendors and stuff as cheap as possible because it is our first event. All our vendors are taking a gamble just like we are, that it's going to be something great like we believe it to be. And, we didn't want to come out and just start charging vendors like, oh, it's going to be $100 a spot, and a lot of the costs and stuff too, with it being our first time, we didn't really take into account, like with the DPW and with the Newton police and stuff like that. And unfortunately, it's just one of those things that we kind of have to work with at this point. So I think I'm waiting to hear back from them, because once they make their move, then I can adequately say, okay, this is the direction we're going to go in, or this is the money we're going to need to raise in order to do it. Because at the end of the day, we're in the same boat as every reseller selling there. We're trying to make our own money by selling our stuff. We're not walking out of this, and Rick can tell you, we're not walking out of this with any profit based off of our vendors. We actually got enough vendors to align with our costs, and we literally broke even.
Yeah, it wasn't about making money. It was to build a community and build something that we were proud of. A flea market in Sussex County.
Yep.
Unheard of.
Hmm.
So we're hoping the Newton PD is on board with us and take it easy with us. It's going to be a safe and friendly and family environment. So there's no risk, that they're going to have to take. And hopefully, it's going to work out. It's definitely going to work out.
Absolutely. I mean, again, launching a festival, as anyone has seen if they watched the Road to Thrift Fest thus far on my YouTube channel at Bellissimo, you could see the obstacles that we're overcoming. You can see the different things that are coming up as far as finding people or talking to these people or going and locking in the talent or the vendors. Or right now, we're still seeking out a few food vendors and everything too. And again, it could be as easy enough to find somebody that has a food truck or wants to participate in selling stuff. But at the end of the day, we get the curveballs with the Newton police where they want these people fingerprinted and stuff. It just makes it a little bit difficult. And we've actually lost two different food vendors because they didn't want to have to come and do all this. Like, they thought it was unnecessary and invasive. And in the towns that they sell in outside of Newton, they don't have these issues. So, but again, it's not to say there's anything different. I mean, other townships have their own procedures. It just is what it is. You have to work with it. We chose to put it in Newton, so we have to abide by Newton rules. And again, for it being our first time doing it and stuff, it is a learning curve for us as well. But I think that we're managing it pretty well. We're tackling the big obstacles that are thrown in our way, and we're finding solutions relatively quickly.
Yeah, no, everything you said is definitely on point. I mean, and for the businesses, why not sponsor? You can showcase your banners on the fence because people are gonna have to walk up and down that street. So if you want to showcase your business and want to gain some extra followers and stuff, please reach out and we'll hook you up. And with the amount of people that we're expecting to have, you're definitely gonna have somebody calling.
Absolutely. Or again, even as we put before, if you're like a realtor or somebody like cleaning service, anything like that, we're looking to promote local. So if you want to set up a booth to give out information, give out flyers, give out business cards, whatever the case may be,
Yeah.
this is where we're opening up to the general public of Sussex County to come and promote your local business. We are for local business and supporting local, and we want to help you get seen, to help you build your business, to help you get out there. That's what this is all about. And a lot of people, if you've been watching along, I have an announcement that I'm going to be making this Sunday about a local news outlet that's online that's going to be working with us. So if you want to see who that is and how we obtain them, make sure you check out this Sunday's episode of the Road to Thrift Fest, episode 4. I will be talking about that. There's some exciting news in there, but you'll see just how much coverage we're going to have on this event, how many local streamers and stuff we're going to have come and go live from the event too. There's a lot of exciting things. And if you're there at that event, you're going to get that exposure naturally. You're going to be caught on the YouTubers channels. You're going to be caught on all these content creators and stuff. You're going to be talked about when people use the hashtag Thrift Fest NJ on social media. You'll be a part of that. And to come and just hang out for the day, you do your shopping, you pass out information, you do stuff like that, you're going to get recognized. You're going to get noticed. It is what it is. And that's how we give back to the community. So although, for example, if you're an artist, let's just say you do local painting and stuff, you may not be able to sell your paintings there that day because the town of Newton has a chokehold on how many people can sell that day. And we've hit that threshold. But with all the other content creators and stuff like that that are going to give you that coverage, to the face-to-face interaction that you normally wouldn't have, because it's not like we have like art cafes around here or displays or anything like that. This is your chance to get out there, to get noticed, to get seen, to get your art moving and stuff, because it only takes one person at that event to see you in the right light to just, like a light switch, send your business into a whole nother dimension.
Oh man, that's that would be awesome for that one artist too, man.
Mm-hmm.
Get that exposure that they need to blow up.
Absolutely. Or even like a food vendor, if you're an up and coming food vendor, because those we can actually have, they're different than the regular vendors that we have. The
Right.
food vendor, they've set aside a certain amount we can have as well as that. So if you're a food vendor and you're coming up and whatever it is that you sell, like I know that we have two food vendors that we are working with right now. One is Southern Shaved Ice. I'm waiting on them to turn in all their stuff and get what they need to done. And then the other one is the Creamery, where they do Belgian waffles and other delicious treats like that. So we are still looking for actual food, not just snacks and beverages and stuff. We're looking for people to do food. Now, Dominic's is partnering with us as well. So we are going to be guiding everybody to go to Dominic's. They're going to be having their doors open all day, doing specials for you guys, because they know the traffic that's going to be in the area. So they're ready to be a part of it. We're going to cut a promo with them probably next month so we can get more information from Pete and Sal. But there's a lot of exciting things. And again, to touch on that, if you come there and you're a small business, let's just say you run an empanada truck or a pickle stand or whatever the case may be, you come there and you have the people eat this and stuff, that becomes a memorable thing for them. It gets talked about. Oh, did you try that Belgian waffle place? Did you try that Southern Shaved Ice? And then now all of a sudden you're getting invited. It could blow your business up. That's what the whole point of this is to give you guys the exposure, that we can bring in through the social media work that we've done through our individual stores, to the hype surrounding certain businesses and people that are going to be at the event. That is going to bring in a whole level of exposure that, you can't really put a price tag on if you're from this area. This isn't like your LA where you can go down, or your New York City where you can have all these different opportunities to make it. I mean, we're in Sussex County, New Jersey, one of the most rural places, and this is the opportunity for these small towns to make the jump and get seen and get you guys out there.
One thing, man, shout out to Dominic's. That pizza is delicious. So when you do come to the festival, make sure you stop there and grab a slice.
Absolutely. The Food Network just rated them the best slice in the entire state.
No way. Awesome. Awesome.
Yep. They just got that award from the Food Network. So, I mean, if the Food Network's saying they got the best slice in the whole state of New Jersey, that's saying something.
Gotta believe them.
Gotta believe them, and that they're a part of this with us too. Like I said, I'm going to cut a promo with Pete and Sal, but we already spoke. If you're looking to grab a flyer for the event, hop on into Dominic's. They have some up at the front counter you can grab. I've been supplying them with them, so it's a good way to get some flyers. And if you have a local business and you want us to drop off some flyers to you, please just reach out and let us know, and we'll make sure you have some as soon as possible. And it's just an exciting festival, and I'm speaking on behalf of myself, but I'm very, very excited about it, and I think this is definitely going to be a game changer for this town.
I'm stoked.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a great day.
Yep. And with that being said, that's the conclusion of our interview. I want to thank you, Rick, for coming on and sharing your insights about how your store was created and all about you and all the awesome things that you bring to the table when it comes to not only Thrift Fest, but the reselling community as a whole. So thank you so much for coming on and doing this interview with me.
Thank you, buddy. I'll see you soon.
Absolutely. So make sure you guys go give Rick a follow. Check out his different social media sites in the bio below. And I'll see you guys on the next episode of Secondhand Stories.